Hello, everyone. This is Mason Winfield of Psi-Friday with Mason, here in the Power Tower of the Roycroft Inn in East Aurora, New York, with another episode of Psi-Friday with Mason. This is the last week of May 2025, and I believe today we should talk about Skinwalker Ranch and the subject of paranormal zones. You know, the folklorists have known for centuries that supernatural folklore and perceived supernatural experience tends to cluster in certain zones. A certain area will get tons of reports and stories and legends, and then everything around it won't get anything. Clearly, this is a phenomenon. Now, some of these paranormal zones that exist today are huge, like the Bermuda Triangle, like the Great Lakes Triangle. Some of them are big, like the area around Stonehenge, the Salisbury Plain, like the Giza Plateau with the Great Pyramid, like the Great Serpent Mound in Ohio. Some of these paranormal zones are small, like your typical haunted house. But anything that culture believes in, that society believes, tends to get clustered into this area. You know, the average person might think to themselves, why do ghosts hang out with Bigfoot? You know, what's UFO got to do with an ancient monument? But yet, big deal, doesn't matter. People say stuff about them. There is a pretty prominent paranormal zone out west. They call it Skinwalker Ranch. There's a lot of flap about it. First of all, the area is not that big. It's about 500 acres. So it is a big paranormal zone. And the people who run it today are sharp cookies because, first of all, they got a TV contract to produce programs at it, which is pretty hard to do. They also got a grant from the US government, I am told, of like $22 million to study the place for potential UFO activity. In my book, that's pretty good day's work. But the type of phenomena that is reported there is of virtually every contemporary paranormal type. UFOs, strange light activity, cryptids, unusual creatures, earthly energies, dire wolves of all things, prehistoric creatures that ought to be extinct. There are a lot of zones that collect folklore and perceived paranormal experience. I know quite a few of them in my native upstate. You could probably do a 15-episode series. One site. I mean, I think I'm frustrated with the pace of what I perceive of some of the televised paranormal programs. What would interest me the most would be to know, what did the First Nations people of the region think of this area pre-TV? What did they think of it before the white guys got here? What sort of legends? What would the elders tell us? Because too many times I've seen people pick a spot, start selling tickets, and publicize. They basically advertise that the place is spookified and they charge you money to come look at it. And some of the ones I hear about, nobody ever thought they were haunted until they started advertising. So I'm not convinced by all the hype. What interests me is the pre-hype. And maybe next week we'll come back and I'll talk to you a little bit about the tradition of the Skinwalker. For now, I think we'll let you go and thank you for joining us on another episode of Psi-Friday with Mason. I look forward to seeing you next Friday.